Declan's in line here to go first. Why don't you lead us off?
All right, let's get down to business here. Greg Joseph nails. That is my statement. Greg Joseph nails. Dating back his last 7 games now, hasn't missed a field goal. Perfect. 11 for 11.
Let's get
yesterday. 4 for 4 on extra points. The week before that, 2 for 2 on extra points. The week before that, 3 for 3 against extra points.
Get the flag.
Greg Joseph nails. Hammer, Finch, Home Solutions. Greg Joseph nails.
I told you not to.
Wrong one.
You're showing the wrong guy. You're showing the wrong guy.
I'm used to Mackey being in the middle. That's why it's muscle memory.
Oh, yeah. Hold on.
But Greg Joseph,
how long has it been since he's missed a field goal?
He has not missed a field goal since Week 8 against Arizona.
He's missed a couple extra points in there, I think, right?
He has missed 2 extra points in there. Oh, Santa Claus. Santa Zolgad.
Santa Claus.
Zolgad Claus has made an appearance here, folks.
But yeah, 11 for 11 in his last 7 games on field goals. 17 for 19 in extra points. He has missed 2 extra points in the 7 games there. But I'd actually argue the missed extra point against the Buffalo Bills, as I'd had in my hot take after that game, was good news because it made the Vikings be aggressive and not settle for a field goal.
Strategically sound move by Greg Joseph. He knew what the team needed.
Yes. Nope. And
Have
Greg
any
Joseph.
of those field goals come from 50-plus yards?
I can't see that information. It looks like
I think one might have.
Yeah. So this season
was
he's 2 for 7, and I want to say he was 1 for 5 to start.
He was 1 for 5 or 1 for 6 to start. So he definitely has a 50-yard field goal.
He has got a
here.
50-yarder in there for sure. But yeah, Greg Joseph.
I hope it keeps up.
He's bouncing back.
Do you trust him a little more now, Judd, than you did, like to make a game-winning playoff kick or something? That was a pressure kick, man. It
was, and I give him credit.
It was a 40-yarder for the greatest comeback in NFL history.
No,
so it was no small accomplishment.
I don't trust him because I feel like the second I say that I do, I'm going to jinx it completely, and he's gonna shank a 33-yard field goal to beat the Commanders in the wild card playoff round. So no, I'm going to say I don't trust him. I think it's better luck to say that.
All right, we're back to you here.
Okay,
Grinch.
All right, not Grinch. I'm Judd Claus. All right, Sports Dad says this: give him the damn ball. Who am I talking about? You know who I'm talking about. KJ Osborn.
Wow.
KJ Osborn emerged on Saturday as what we expected probably weeks ago, which is a number 2 receiver who is a complement to JJ, who is a threat. KJ's day, 10 catches, 157 yards, a touchdown. I think that we had grown skeptical of KJ's ability because it was very clear the coaching staff and KOC mostly wasn't utilizing him as much as we thought. And so we thought, you know what? We trust KOC's football acumen and judgment, offensively especially, and KJ must not be as big a part of the offense as we expected for a reason. Well, Saturday sort of disproved that. Saturday also proved that if you use the receivers in this depth chart order, you're going to have more success. Justin Jefferson, clear-cut 1. He's 1, 2, 3, and 4, which is cool. KJ Osborn's 2. Thielen is 3. And Adam Thielen, make no mistake, as Kirk said post-game on Saturday, played a very important role and made some key catches and one huge catch. But he was used correctly, which is to say, catching the ball without a need to gain yards. Osborn, look at Osborn and Jefferson's yardage total.
Yeah.
So give him the damn ball. Going forward, I don't even think this is an adjustment. I think that this is just a pure swap. Thielen falls into a role where if you need a catch, he can catch the ball. But if you need yards, I'm looking to 17 after I'm looking to 18.
Yeah, it's so interesting because it felt going into the season like, okay, I'm not saying KJ Osborn is like a number 1 receiver waiting to be unleashed, but he showed some major signs in Zimmer's last season of just being able to maybe rise up, and then he was just invisible for most of the first 3 months. And then to have this breakout performance, you wonder, okay, has he just been schematically sort of hidden? Has Kirk just, and they've also had some misconnections where, KJ maybe had his hands on a ball and then it got tipped for an interception or, so he hasn't been the most reliable of targets himself at times, but he's still kind of a mystery. What is he? Is he a guy that can do this on a more regular basis and be a true number 2, or is it just a fun pop-up game in a second half where the Colts were playing off coverage or something? I don't know what to make of it until he follows up with a little bit more.
My question is this, because you're right. There have been some picks that Kirk threw that were going KJ's way, and there have been some definite misses. Does that cause the Vikings to go away from him, or was the strategy always like that? That's what I can't tell, because every time that KJ gets a chance and plays well, he doesn't do things that I think are a fluke. It's not like I watch him and I'm like, that's a fluke, right? Like he does things where I think, okay, if you accept the fact that there might be some hiccups at times, he's still going to be a threat. And I love the fact that he can get yards after the catch. I love that fact. And it's not his fault. And we've been talking about this for a month now, but Adam can't do that anymore. He can catch the ball. He's got unbelievable hands. But once he catches the ball, that is where the ball basically is going to lie.
Yep. Okay, kind of along these same lines in terms of evaluating what the Vikings have at wide receiver or not. My statement is, now I get it. Jalen Reagor.
Oh, yes.
Because the Eagles, they drafted this guy in the first round, and they just kind of bailed on him after a couple years. All right, I guess nice little buy low trade by the Vikings. You know, he's got some speed, some explosiveness. He's had a couple big plays, catching passes down the field. And maybe they can incorporate him in more and see what they've got. He's a first-round pick for a reason, right? Now I get it after watching him more. So he was responsible directly for one of the interceptions, indirectly or directly for the stopping his route on the other one. But like he was the target on the interceptions by Kirk. The one that was returned back for a pick six, Reagor sits in the zone. Kirk drops back, arm goes back. He's about to throw it, and Reagor then just like moves 3 feet to his right, and the ball goes right to a defender. So I don't know what there's no chemistry between Reagor and Kirk. It would seem, and this is an incredible stat for people wondering. Hey, Jalen Reagor is kind of a burner. Maybe you could have him as an outside deep threat, a guy that can stretch the field, right? So after that game on Saturday, 3 years of Jalen Reagor in the NFL, quarterbacks are 5 for 28 when throwing the ball to him 20 yards in the air or more. 0 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. So basically, when you're doing anything other than trinket plays short to Jalen Reagor, it's going to be a disaster. Incomplete pass at best, interception on 5 of the 28 throws. So that's not good, and I kind of get it now.
I apologized. I think it was Saturday late in the day for my hardcore take, because of course I got, and rightfully so, I got the response. What do you think now, Zolgad? Reagor deep threat now, Zolgad. Yeah. And I'm like, I apologize. I'm sorry. I was totally wrong. I'm not going to try and defend this. I was totally wrong. I mean,
it's weird.
Those two. You know what? A lot of times it's so nuanced that when a receiver runs a wrong route on a pick, you blame Kirk, right? Because it's like you don't really see that he ran the wrong route. And then you might find out, you might not. How many times have you seen in the pros, so not a college thing, that not once but twice in the same game, it's so apparent that the receiver was totally at fault?
Yeah,
it doesn't really happen that much.
And Kirk did a good job too. I think after one of them, he kind of came over and like consoled Jalen Reagor a little bit. I think Tom Brady would have just like lit him on fire on the sidelines.
I think O'Connell was pissed and said something, and Kirk's like, "Hey man, it's okay."
Yeah, and they're gonna need him at some point. At some point they're gonna need him to pick up a big like 30-yard chunk like a couple weeks ago. But you can't trust that guy on deep passes. It's the numbers speak for themselves. 5 for 28, 0 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. Throw those balls to Jalen Reagor at your own risk, I guess. All right, back to Dex.
All right. My statement is no need to get too cute. So I found some data to back this up now. So on 3rd and 1 this season, the Vikings have run 14 rushing plays. Third and 2 or less. So 3rd and 2, 3rd and 1. The Vikings have run the ball 14 times, and they have converted 12 first downs in those situations. So 3rd and 2 or less. 85% success rate when rushing on 3rd and 2 or less. For whatever reason, 3rd and 2 or less, Kevin O'Connell has drawn up 32 passing plays.
Wow.
32 passing plays. The Vikings are only converting on 53% of those 3rd and 2 and less situations.
Wow.
So, for whatever reason, Kevin O'Connell, which I get it, we're kind of trying to change the traditional thinking, but sometimes I think keeping it simple in very short situations is the right way to go here. And for whatever reason, he continues to dial up a lot of 3rd down passes on short to go situations, and it doesn't really convert very well. So yeah, 85% of the times they have ran the ball on 3rd and 2 or less, they have gotten the first down. Pretty damn good success rate right there. But on passing plays, just 53%. So it's basically a coin flip when they are deciding to pass the ball. A little bit better, but a coin flip on 3rd and 2 or less to go. And I think Kevin O'Connell, who is a genius offensive coach, I think we're still really scratching the surface on how good this offense can be long-term and in this season. I think in these situations, this could even be more part of our State of the Offense episode on Purple Daily on Thursday. I think we're seeing now with the eye test and the numbers that back it up here that short to go situations, you just got to keep it simple, KOC. There's no need to get too cute.
That's fascinating. I mean, the ratio, you said like 32 passing plays versus 14 running plays.
Yeah.
It does feel like there's been a couple high-profile stuffs on 4th down where they've tried to run recently.
Yes.
So maybe we're taking the outliers where they get stuffed and saying like, well, why are you running up the middle? You know, why would you? But I do think they have to be careful when they have a backup center to not just be like running up the middle behind a backup center in some of these short yardage situations. But they've also shown the ability to creatively run jet sweeps or pitch.
Yeah.
Like, how many times have you seen like 3 or 4 times a pitch out to Dalvin Cook? So there's other ways you can do it besides running up the back of Austin Schlottman to get a couple yards.
You know what I'd love to see, though, on 4th and 1? And I don't know if this is not possible.
A flea flicker.
KOC, well, no, it'd be great.
A Statue of Liberty.
KOC has maximized Kirk really well, but I would love to see where they had a comfort of Kirk just diving forward. And I don't know if this needs work or what, but the easiest thing is if your quarterback can just get the yard.
And have CJ Ham just shove him forward from behind, right?
Actually, that's not that's exactly, yes. That's a great call.
Or line up like an extra offensive lineman in the fullback position and just have him do it.
Oh, go heavy?
I would say have him just shove Kirk on a quarterback sneak.
A heavy package?
Yes.
Oh, God, I love it.
I'd bring like Oli Udoh out there and say, okay, we're not going to give you the ball, but you're going to line up as a fullback and just shove Kirk forward on a quarterback sneak. So it'll be just like 600. Well, what's Kirk? Probably 200. Be like 500 pounds of you guys trying to shove it across the goal line.
You're talking my language right there. Heavy package.
Let's get it.
Heavy a little bit. All right. Back to me?
Yeah.
Okay, my statement is this. Screen gems. Screen gems. No, I'm not talking about the movie business. I'm talking about the Dalvin Cook screen that we saw for the what ultimately led to the 2-point conversion, though, was the tying points on Saturday. But Dalvin Cook, so he has caught this year a season high of 5 passes. He caught 4 on Saturday. Going into Saturday, his highest receiving total in a single game in 2022 was 30 yards. He accounted for 95 yards receiving on Saturday, in large part because of that 60-plus yard touchdown. And I don't know if it was the Colts being awful. I mean, that certainly helps a little bit because they didn't look good on that play. I don't know if it was an alteration in the actual screen game and screen call. But whatever that was, that's what I've wanted all year long. And that's where Dalvin Cook can catch the ball and can go. And that play in and of itself is a fundamental West Coast play, but it's great because what does it do? It basically is it's a run play, but it gets you out in space.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a screen jam. And the screen game, we've discussed this, has been awful. It's been terrible. And it's probably among all of the O'Connell things that haven't gone according to form, probably the most surprising, because I think the screen is lethal. I think the screen is great. And every team, for the most part, can run a screen. So that was a screen gem. That's what I want to see more of. That's the exact type of play. Because you know what? Dalvin, at his age now, with a head of steam going off the line of scrimmage, is dangerous still. And so can we bottle that up? And can we see that again used effectively? Because that play looked exactly like the screen game should, and almost nothing that the Vikings had done up to that point in the screen game had looked like that.
That screen was funny too because it was kind of Dalvin Cook's current state all encapsulated in one play, which is he can still move in close quarters. He can still kind of wiggle his way into yardage. But if you ask him to just straight line run for like 50, 60, 70 yards, he doesn't have a full tank of gas anymore. And so he gets down around the 20 yard. The initial burst was there, right? He's there. He go. Oh, he's loose. There goes Dalvin. And then the car starts sputtering as it gets to the 20-yard line, and defenders catch up to him. And I think it was Ezra Cleveland that also caught up to him.
He almost tackled him.
And Ezra was trying to get to the inside to form kind of a wall, but he bumps into Dalvin, and then it was a great play by Ezra. He then just kind of grabs Dalvin and just like carries him into the end zone, shielding him from defenders.
Transports him into the end zone.
Yeah. So Dalvin's definitely not straight line speed outrunning opposing 24-year-old cornerbacks at this point, but he can still in space or in closed quarters, he can still wiggle around a little bit and make it happen. Yeah, it would be nice to see it pop more often. A shout out to our friends at Spiral Light Candles. Saw a couple pictures of Spiral Light Candles. Nice holiday gifts here over the next couple weeks, Judd.
That's true. Sports Dad is here to tell you that if you are, and it's late, I know, but if you are our Christmas week now looking for a gift, Spiral Light Candles is the place to go. It's this simple, spirallightcandles.com. Candles reinvented. Check out their holiday savings at their site right now. So many great choices. And that one right there, that's the Purple Positivity candle. That's the one Phil is talking about. I got a few notes with Purple Positivity candles saying I was burning this during the game. And guess what? It proved to be great luck. It also smells great. And as you can see, it's really, really cool. The candle burns spirally, but then once that's done, there's a big wick at the end that burns for a long time. SpiralLightCandles.com. Great stocking stuffer, great under the tree. It's going to make your wife, girlfriend happy. And if you're, let's just say you're a little bit superstitious, the playoffs are approaching, get yourself Judd's Purple Positivity candle and give the Vikings some luck. SpiralLightCandles.com.
And also, let's say hi to the official sports bar of the sports dad himself, Judd Zulgad. And specifically, if you're looking for a place for group outings, you got 5, 6, 10 people, whatever it is, Park Tavern should be atop your list of places to bring a fun group. Fantasy football drafts, company gatherings, whatever it is.
Did you say 10 people? Because I'm going to tell you right
20,
now.
40.
50, 75 people. They can accommodate any size group. They are fantastic.
1,000 people.
There's bowling. There's 2 bars. This place is spacious. And they are set for you. So check them out, parktavern.net, parktavern.net. It's also a great place to catch the games. It's also a great place to get a bite to eat or perhaps a surly beer or a different beer. You know what? Park Tavern, located in St. Louis Park, Louisiana Avenue South, 952-929-6810, parktavern.net. Book your group today. And guys, be a hero at home. If you've got the girlfriend's birthday, the wife, your mom, something, I don't know, for the family, you got a big group, Park Tavern is going to help you have a great time. And you're going to look like you were organized, despite the fact that they will do all the work. You start at parktavern.net. I'll see you there because Sports Dad in a sports bar is often at the end of that bar.
You'll just see him there with his little Santa hat, just drinking syrup.
It's not creepy. Come up and say hi. Ho, ho, ho.
It's not creepy. Come up and say hi.
Say hi.
I think
That's
if you
a great
have to
way
put
to make people feel comfortable.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not creepy.
Good.
Come up and say hi.
It's not creepy. Come up and say hi. It's not.
I'm
weird,
not creepy.
wild.
It's okay. You can come here.
It's not weird. It's wild. See, it's a marketing slogan.
Generally, if you have to try and comfort people by telling them it's not creepy,
I'm
it
not
is
gonna,
creepy.
You guys get off my back. You made me. You strong-armed me, bullied me into leaving that Vikings game on Saturday. I don't want to hear another word till Christmas is done. Judda Claus is very upset.
Judda Claus. All right, I have one here. This is my last statement. I feel like, I guess here's my statement. Anything is possible in a Minnesota Vikings game now. Whether they have a massive lead, we've seen them blow. Think about like going back to the Metrodome, US Bank Stadium. We've seen them blow massive leads. We've seen them start the season 5-0, 6-0, and miss the playoffs. We've now seen them complete a miracle pass at the buzzer to Stephon Diggs to win a playoff game. We've seen them come back from down 33 points inside US Bank Stadium. They've come back from down 20 points at halftime against the Broncos a few years ago, right?
Yep.
Anything is possible in a Minnesota Vikings game. They just played their 1,000th game, regular season, postseason.
Yes.
And I think it was kind of a perfect encapsulation of Vikings football all in one day. It was generational meltdown for the first hour and a half, generational comeback for the second hour and a half. That's Vikings football and everything in between.
This franchise is so weird. Not bad, because they've had a lot of good years, but they're so weird. I tweeted this last night. For the standard National Football League franchise, the 2022 Viking season would be nearing the top of, I'll never forget that season list.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think this team makes the top 5.
In all-time,
Not
like,
yet,
crazy
at
seasons.
least.
It's getting pretty close, though.
But like when you consider 2010, which was atrocious, 2009, which was, the Favre year, 98 with Moss, 16, they're undefeated. And then Zim B had some stuffed animals and they fall apart. And at the start of that year, your franchise quarterback just sort of mysteriously snapped his leg in half. Okay. This year, ordinarily, I think would be, oh my God, this year's in the moment. It's great. And it's actually been fun. But like this franchise is just such a roller coaster ride of emotions that like this year, in my opinion, is still like, it's knocking. Let me in. And like 2009's like, not quite yet.
There's so many things like, they'll get a playoff game and then they can kind of craft it from there. In terms of like regular seasons, it's knocking on the door. But your general point, I agree with, which is like, there's been so many ridiculous, crazy seasons. All right, any other statements from you guys here on this Monday?
I don't
Feel good?
think so.
I've got
I'm
one
good.
more.
You got one more? Okay.
I've got
Get it
one
out of your
more.
systems here.
It starts on Saturday with the Vikings, but extends through Sunday as well. And of course, the Packers and Rams are going to wrap up the week on Monday Night Football. But my statement is this. Recency bias included, I think this might be the craziest weekend of the National Football League I've ever seen. When you consider that it starts with the San Fran game against Seattle that Phil attended, but it starts craziness-wise, complete nutso with a Colts-Vikings game that at halftime is a blowout and people are tuning out and ends as the greatest comeback in the history. Sunday was filled with weird games, close games, and none of them might have been great games as far as like aesthetically pleasing, but look at the finishes, look at the one-score games, and I give you to cap off the entire thing what I think is possibly the stupidest play I have seen in my life watching at least professional football.
Yeah.
And that is tie score, Vegas and the Patriots. And it's tie score. So last play of regulation, the Patriots, Mac Jones hands off the ball, I believe, right? The guy is running, the Patriots back is running free. And you're like, are the Raiders going to tackle him? Then as soon as he runs into two Vegas players about 20 yards downfield, he laterals to Jacoby Myers.
Dude.
Now the score is tied. This isn't a desperation. You're just going to go to OT. Jacoby Myers decides to throw back cross field to Mac Jones, and it gets picked off by Chandler Jones and returned for a touchdown.
Amazing. Just
like
amazing incompetence. And people are kind of pushing Belichick after the game too, and he just someone said, was there a coaching point in there at any point? Like, hey, if this play's going nowhere, just go down and go to overtime. And, he like let there be silence for a few seconds. We talk about situational football. We preach situational football. Just made a mistake. Dude, what are you doing?
The Dolphins game, the Dolphins meltdown, is that 3 years ago now?
Yeah.
The Dolphins return for a touchdown.
Yep. They kind of razzle-dazzled their way down the field. Yeah.
This is twice now. But that play, I'm sorry, that play is at least partially on coaching. If you have players who are that unaware, he must have thought that they were losing.
Yeah, I don't know why you. Or he thought, well, we still have a chance to win, so let's just keep pushing. Like, yeah, but they do too.
But you're gonna throw a cross. I mean, it'd be one thing if he lateral backwards and it got fumbled. That's like, oh, that's a major screw up.
Well, why
Cross
even call a
field?
run if you're Belichick and the coaching staff?
Yeah.
Why
you're right.
even call a play there? You're just gonna run the ball up the middle and run the clock. Just take a knee and go to overtime, or throw a pass. So at least if it gets
Hail
picked
Mary.
off, now you have 100 yards of space to stop them.
I have no clue.
Super weird, man. Oh, anyhow,
Crazy league, crazy weekend.
Crazy.
yeah. So, all right, well, that's your Mackey and Judd here at your Statements Monday. Over on Purple Daily the last few days, we've got, if you missed the 3.5-hour marathon that was Vikings Ventland that we started at halftime, and then it obviously took a change in tone as that game progressed, you can find that. That has become the most consumed episode of Vikings Ventline in the history of the show since we moved it to YouTube a few years ago. Yeah, we'll get the flag for that. Okay.
Thank you. Ho, ho, ho.
I'm not creepy. Come say hi.
Yeah, I'm not creepy.
Hey, kids.
Hey, kids.
Hi, kids. It's Viking Santa Claus. How are you doing?
Definitely not creepy. Not at all.
I'm
All right, we'll
alright.
see you guys tomorrow
Absolutely.
on Mackey and Creep.